Hey guys, THUNDERSTUD here, and today we are visiting a nifty little archetype called Aliens. Now, we just got one little new card, probably a while back, and that's Alien Infiltrator. And it's doing this new thing Konami's really trying to work in, most likely so it can usher in some new summoning mechanics, some new worlds, stuff like that. But it's column interactions, monster zone interactions. So we have Alien Infiltrator, he only has 800 attack. Once returned, this card can move to an adjacent, unoccupied monster card zone. If no spell or trap cards or monsters on your opponent's side of the field is in the same column as this card, you can attack your opponent directly. So all you really got to do is move out of a slot where there's no... move into a slot where there's no monster, no spell card, and this boy can attack directly. So as such, I'm using, some of the lamer cards like Power of the Guardians, which isn't the best card, but I like it for this boy to up his attack, protect him from destruction, keep swinging for lethal. It's just a nice new little dynamic for aliens, and why I was so interested in it is because generally aliens require a lot of interaction with your opponent, like a lot of interaction with your opponent. This interacts with your opponent, this. You need your opponent to have face-up monsters. You need your opponent committing. People don't always do that. So now if your opponent isn't committing, you can search your Alien Infiltrator with something like Resell Combination. He can attack directly after dancing around the monster zones. And then you just threaten lethal. Now your opponent has to commit. They have to extend into getting rid of that boy. And then once they do, you can follow up with things like Recombination and Brainwashing, do some telepath plays, hit him with the alien kid. If they special summon a monster, he's going to put a counter on him. Or use your counters for your alien overlord. All that other stuff. We're also using one Ammonite. He'll special summon an alien from your graveyard, level 4 lower, so not alien overlord. And usually you can have the exact one you want with Resell Combination. So let's say you use Resell Combination on your opponent, throw away a telepath, normal summon your Ammonite, special summon the telepath. Now the telepath can take off a counter, destroy a back row. Then you can synchro summon into your fortress. Then you sell plenty of counters. You can use fortress's effect, remove 2 counters from anywhere, destroy a monster. Nice little combos. He's 2600 for a 5 synchro too, so it's pretty interesting. But we actually have a varied synchro pool. We have a 9 Armades, an 11 in Star Eater, which is 6 plus 4 plus 1. Then of course we have 5. We have 9, which is 6 plus 2 plus 1. So it does get there. And then we have 7, which is just 6 plus 1. So we do have a lot of combos, but it's not exactly at our beck and call. You are pretty consistent with the search of Resell Combination. You get to choose whoever you want. So we are running kind of light on monsters. We really only have about 7 monsters we can normal summon. But it's not necessarily a brick because you combine things like Recombination and Brainwashing Beam. Separately, they're a brick if you have like 3 Cosmic Cyclones and a Recombination. But together, Brainwashing Beam and Recombination is not a brick. It's a good combo, so gotta be a little careful. We make everything work just right with Switcheroo and Cosmic Cyclone. But like I said, guys, this archetype relies a lot on interacting with your opponent. You just don't get to this boy fast enough, and he's just not threatening enough to force your opponent to commit. But he does offer you options where you're not relying on your opponent. You can just start swinging without them, even if they don't want to play with you. So it works out pretty well. Aliens just aren't that good. When you rely so much on your opponent, they can really control the duel, especially once they know what you are and know exactly what you're doing. So this little boy, we got him from that Cubic event, I think. The Agami event, I think, is where we were getting him. But aliens just aren't up to snuff. Even as hard as we try, Brainwashing Beam is still like their best combo, so it's still too reliant on your opponent to make plays and overextend, while at the same time not finishing you off. So that's asking a lot in Duel Links, and aliens still just struggle, but it's worth checking up on them, especially when they're just dripping out new archetype support. They might have new summoning, I don't know, maybe they have XYZ monsters, I don't know at all. So I'm going to keep checking up on them. Hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for watching. Alright, here's an Arcana. We're going second. I think this was right before the nerf of Witchcrafters. So he's starting with an immediate array. with a Jenny effect. He searches his holiday. We have 2 Cosmic Cyclones that are really going to be useless to us. Here we recombination our girl. We'll use 2 of those to bring out our Overlord. Overlord's going to put some counters on her. She forces the negate, but that just frees up our board, guys. We have Infiltrator coming at him. This is what I'm talking about. If this was normal aliens, our combos would have been stopped because we rely on our opponent. But here, Infiltrator doesn't care. He's going to make plays. He's going to threaten you, even when you're not doing anything. Here, our boy gets a Machine Angel Ritual, brings out an Edatel, searching some spells, ends his turn. We have our Ammonite. We're going to use our Overlord again. That's going to negate Infiltrator this time, so no direct attacks for our boy. We're going to use Recombination to search our Alien Kid, mostly just thinning a deck there. Summon our Alien Kid, swing 2200 at her. With Alien Kid and Overlord in there, we double the effects of the attack drain of our alien counters. So we're getting closer. He's at minus 600 with those 2 counters right now. Now we're going to Cosmic Cyclone, that back row. That's Patronus, of course. Adding cards to his hand. We're really keeping his hand low with him needing to negate every turn. Do our Overlord again. He has to negate it again. Only 1 spell card in his hand. We're going to switcheroo our Ammonite. There's really no room for him. That's our recombination. Now we're going to power the Guardians, our Overlord. Recombo that girl. Put our Infiltrator to defense just so we don't get sacked in an OTK. We swing once. We're only at 2800, but that gives us our power of the Guardian click, and we're able to gain some attack. 2700, 1 more attack, and we're able to get up there. Now we have 4 counters on this girl, 2 and 1. He's adding spell cards in his end phase. Ammonite's right back to us. We only have 1, so that's the exact same Ammonite. Here, throws away all our effects, but that does not work on Power of the Guardians. We're going to thin our deck again with Recombination. That's our another Overlord. We can only have 1 Overlord on the field, though. Here, Veray does Witchcrafter's Holiday, so 38 versus 32. We take 600 damage, but we're getting there, guys. Our Overlord is so strong. Alien Kid is here. Anyone you special summons is going to get a counter. Cosmic Cyclone's not really helpful. There's Charge of Light Brigade, so this deck isn't even viable after the ban list. And it's still going to get beat by aliens. Isn't that absolutely crazy? So he shows a Nightmare. His Charge of Light Brigade right back. Mills another Charge of Light Brigade. Uses his Pittori to summon Schemata. Swings at our Infiltrator. Not a big deal. End phase. He's finally gaining in his hand. He's got about 4 cards in his hand now. 5 cards, so much better than he's been. But we're still going to bring it to him. So we get a Telepath. Overlord's going to put more counters on the boy. He's going to deny that effect. Now we're going to summon the Ammonite. He didn't deny this boy's effect, so we're going to use our Golgar. Remove 2 counters, try to destroy that Veray, but our opponent uses his Machine Angel Ritual. Now we're up to 3700, guys. Our boy's trying to get us. He's up to 4800. He's just trying to keep us at bay. Can't use his effect for his Adele, though, so she's going to get murked. Brings out Raiden. Synchros into a Battle Wasp. Interesting play. Swings over our Fortress. Battle Wasp is going to lower our Overlord by 1000 because that's what he does when he destroys a monster. So interesting, nice little situational play, but now what he's done, he has no spellcaster to target his Veray. Here we're going to Overlord again. We do have a life switcheroo, so we're going to get rid of this Cosmic Cyclone. It's really not doing a thing for us. Brainwashing Beam, very strong. We get to power up our Power of the Guardians once again, swinging over his Battle Wasp. He's down to 3 cards, guys. 2 cards in his deck. Goes for a Lila. Lila's our Power of the Guardian. Finally did it. Now he's gonna Jenny out his Edel. Does not know our Brainwashing Beam's coming. Collaboration's the Edel. But we're gonna Brainwashing Beam. So we're down to 200 life points. But there's nothing our boy can do since we stole his Beret. He milled his last cards with that Lila to destroy the power of the Guardians, guys. So we already have the Duel 1. Normal summon our Alien Overlord. He adds a card to his hand. I bet he wishes he could have added it to the deck. We use our Alien Overlord. We'll even peck some damage at you, boy. We hit him for 500, destroy a monster, because we know no cards to draw. Boy is finished. Very long, great duel, guys. Okay, here we are fighting a Yusei Fudo, going second. He's using a Seto Kaiba, Blue Eyes, Matt there. He's also using 21 cards, it would look like. 3 back row set and a monster set. This boy is ready to duel. We're gonna Cosmic Cyclone 1. We hit Ballista Squad, so we know he's Shiranui. Now we're gonna use our Switcheroo. We return Alien Kid, get an Alien Warrior. Now we're going to Cosmic Cyclone again. This way we'll have another instance of Switcheroo. Next turn we hit a Canadian. This boy is definitely Shiranui, super ready. We swing into a Spectral Sword Shade, so not just Spectral Sword. Fortunate for us, he sets another back row. No cards in his hand though, or on the field, so he's probably gonna have a hard time. We're gonna Switcheroo that Alien Overlord right into another Alien Overlord. So that's really a Switcheroo I know and love. It pretty much just gives you back whatever you send, like 50% of the time. It's absolutely crazy. But here our boy takes the damage, sets a monster, and realizes we're just gonna swing right over him. Has to scoop. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing another Arcana. We're going first. He's full on Arcana, has Dark Magician and an Arcana Mat. All we can do is really play one of our Alien Kids, set a back row, and hope he has to special summon some monsters. Dark Magician uses this Dark Magical Circle, sets 2. We gotta really hit that Navigation. So we hit the 3rd slot. It was in fact the Navigation. Use our Switcheroo, get another Alien Kid out, set a back row. This is what I mean when I say aliens don't really have a way to force OTKs. You have one with Alien Warrior, Recombination, and Overlord, but that's a 3-card combo. So it's hard to punish weak fields immediately like this with aliens. But we're going to normal summon our Ammonite. That's our Fortress. Fortress can add counters to monsters by returning face-up spell or trap cards to the hand. So we actually get to return both of those Dark Magical Circles. We put a counter on each of our boys, but we didn't need it as we swing for lethal. Great stuff, guys. Okay, here's Dark Signer Colin Kessler. We're going first. We got Alien Kid, Alien Warrior, Alien Overlord, and Brainwashing Beam. So we have ways to put counters, and we have ways to use those counters. Our opponent is likely Infernity, so we're going a little slower. We summon our Kid, summon our Warrior, swing into a Winged Karibo. So we just pass our turn. Remember, we still have Brainwashing Beam. And Alien Kid's going to put a counter on anyone who's summoned, so we'd be able to steal him. Now we get Recombination. We're really going to be able to choose what we want to do. And we have a field full of monsters. So we run into an 1850 monster who returns to the hand. We can't even get over an 1850 monster. So what I'm talking about with those decks that don't really extend or interact. He's just trying to do stuff like this with his Lava Golem and all those nonsensical plays, and we're not even scared, guys. We're gonna chain our Cosmic Cyclone to our Lava Golem, taking 2,000 damage. Now we're gonna resell Combination on that boy. That Canadia's gone. Now check that out. We're gonna Brainwash Beam that boy. Normal summon an Alien Overlord. Switcheroo that Warrior. That's another resell Combination. I'll take it, but we don't gotta take it because we're swinging for lethal. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing a Yami Merrick. Now remember what I said about interacting with your opponent. Yami Merrick really doesn't want to interact with you. He wants you to overextend, and then he's going to Shadow Golem and do all that nonsense. But we got to bring the fight to him. So we're going to do just that. But it turns out it's actually Ace of Metaphys. So that's kind of the opposite. Our boy throws everything on the field, and we're going to have no problem handling him. We're going to start with the Cosmic Cyclone of Metaphys Factor. Pretty bold choice with that Ace of Metaphys on the field. But we're going to do it for that Switcheroo. Normal summon our Warrior. Throw away our Telepath. Now, I use Recombination to put counters on my own Alien Warrior. That way we can bring out our Overlord, 2200 plus 1800, that's perfect lethal. Usually, aliens don't really have a way to punish a board like this with lethal. They just don't. This was a rare case, 3-card combo, where they can threaten lethal against a weak field. But our boy did in fact have Kyroid, so it's not lethal. But like I said, you're usually not threatening lethal like this. It's actually pretty hard to threaten lethal. But here's our new boy, guys. We got our Infiltrator at the top deck. Didn't have to use recombination to search him. Probably aren't going to use him. Probably use our Telepath to destroy that Ace of Metaphys. Now we can just swing over the little Lupine. We're going to do some big damage because he's going to get Kyroid back. So we really got to get that big damage in while we can. That's 2200. He does in fact get the Kyroid back. But we've done our damage, so let him use his Kyroid. Has to use both instances for our little monsters since he is using Shadow Games and it would hurt him. 400 per turn doesn't really phase us just yet. We're still over 2000. He gets another Ace of Metaphys top deck. Banishes a Tyrant Dragon. Normal summons his aloof Lupine. Destroys my Telepath. He thinks he's going to sneak another Kyroid play on me. But we're not going to let that. Overlord lowers him. Look guys, Infiltrator. He's already freed up. No monster. This is a column. So if you didn't know the difference between a row and a column, columns are vertical, so this is the column. A row would be horizontal, so this would be a row going horizontal. It says no monsters or spell cards in this column, and he can attack directly. Why are we doing that first? Because that boy could get a Kyroid if his Lupine does his thing. So we're going to hit him for 1300. That's the combination I wanted, the Infiltrator plus the Power of the Guardians. Then we have exact lethal with 300, swinging over the Lupine. That way he can't get his Kyroid. Back to his hand. Very technical stuff. You really got to pay attention with aliens. Every play has to be perfect. You have to know exactly what your opponent's going to do. You have to know exactly what you're going to need to do. It's a lot of work for an archetype that doesn't really stand up on its own. So aliens have a way to go. They could definitely do it with a consistent boss monster they easily bring out. I'm sure there's more support. I'm sure there's more bosses in the new worlds, in the new summoning mechanics. So maybe Konami hasn't forgot about aliens, and that's why they're still sneaking the support in there. But other than that, it's just a nice reminiscent archetype to look back to. Maybe one day it will prove itself in the meta with new support, and we'll be ready and have jumping off points with all these experience we've played. So thanks for watching, guys.